Hi friend, welcome back to the channel where we focus less on trying and more on being the best version of ourselves. If you're new, welcome, lovely to have you here. I'm Aisha. On this channel, we talk about conscious manifestation, reality creation, deciding to have the things you want, things of that nature. If you're interested in one-on-one help with that, everything you need to know is in the description box below. Let's get started. A lot of the times, our focus is on manifesting an SP, a specific person, an individual that you already have an awareness of, because that's what majority of people are asking about. Everybody wants to know about the SP. But today I want to talk about manifesting new love. And the great thing about this is, just like literally everything else, manifestation is always based on the same premise. Who are you being? Who are you deciding to be? Are you the version of yourself who is single? Or are you the version of yourself that is in that happy, committed relationship? It always comes down to refining your identity or shifting it to be the version of yourself that is available, who's compatible, who is accepting this new assumption. If you assume that you have your ideal partner, that you're in the perfect relationship, that it's happening right now, then who are you being? Even in the physical reality, how can you prepare yourself? How can you prepare yourself physically? How can you prepare yourself mentally to be in that relationship to the best of your ability right now in this very moment? You still have to address your stories around relationships, whether or not you're manifesting a specific person or somebody completely new. If you have an awareness of being somebody who always gets into a relationship and it goes well for a while and then there's always something that makes it go to shit, then that's gonna happen no matter where you go. You cannot run from situation to situation to situation and wonder why the same thing keeps happening when you are still in the same awareness. You have to shift who you are being, you have to shift the stories that you are telling and become the version of you who is always committed to, who is always loved, who is always prioritized, who feels safe in their relationship, who knows that things get to work out for them because they decided so. Not necessarily even because you're worthy of it or because you're deserving of it or because you were chosen for it, but because you decided that's how it is. Because there is no cause outside of you. So if you want to be the version of you in that happy relationship, then you decide to be that now, regardless of the external evidence that may be to the contrary. So your self-concept is still the most important piece. If you understand that there's no cause outside of you, that everything that is happening in your reality is because of you, because of your state of awareness, because of who you've decided you are, then you will decide to be the version of you who is in a happy relationship. Regardless of whether you want to make an extensive list, even if it's not a specific person, if you want to get very detailed about who it is you're calling in, like their height, their eye color, what they do for work, how they act, how they talk, where they're from, you could get as detailed as you want. Or you could go to the other side of the spectrum and literally just affirm, I'm so happy and grateful that I am in the perfect relationship. I have the ideal partner. I feel so loved. I'm happier than I've ever been. This is amazing. And you could just stay there and both work. Or you can do a combination of both. Even if you just feel the presence of that person and you don't even see them in your imaginal acts, it still works. It works if you decide it works, and it's not that much of a big deal. You don't have to nitpick over the details, but if you do want to get detailed, if there are specific things that you want out of the relationship or ways that you want this person to be or act, you are totally within your rights to express that and to choose it and to assume that it is that way. No matter what you choose to do, which hopefully is the thing that actually feels good to you, your goal is to just go to the end, to remember that there's nobody outside of you who is on a pedestal. There's nobody outside of you who needs to choose you or pick you. There's nothing about you that needs to change in order for you to be worthy or valuable. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to dredge up all your relationship trauma. That's not what I mean by changing the old story. I mean when you understand that you are the observer and you start to look at the thoughts that you are thinking when you think about relationships. When you think about yourself being in a relationship, if you're currently single, what are you thinking? Yes, that's available to me. No, that always goes wrong for me. Yes, I'm in a relationship right now. No, I haven't been in a relationship in the past 2 years. What is your awareness of who you are being? Even if there's no specific relationship trauma, if things are not working out the way that you want them to, why? What story is it that you are telling that is causing things to not play out the way that you want them to? That you are not always chosen, that you're not prioritized, that you're too busy, that you don't have time, that relationships are a distraction, that all men are this way or all women are this way. Understand what is causing that disconnect from you being able to just decide, okay, yeah, I am loved. Yeah, I am prioritized. Yeah, that person is perfect for me. and I love our lives together. I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'm so grateful that I can rely on them, that I feel safe in this relationship, that I see it going exactly where I want it to go. What's stopping you? What's stopping you from telling that story right now? The point is not to even figure out how or why you created whatever past situations happened. It's just to decide how it's going to be now. Regardless, if you can completely drop the past, then you can completely shift to the new future. That shift is instantaneous as long as you are not going back. No back and forth, no shaking like a leaf. You stand firmly in your conviction, which means once you decide, you don't just renege your decision. You don't just say, oh, never mind, I'm scared. Oh, never mind, I feel like it's not safe to be in a relationship. Because if you're having feelings like that, you get into the state, you keep reminding yourself, you maintain that awareness that you are in your perfect relationship. And then the person manifests and they're asking you for commitment. They want to spend more time with you. They want to be with you. They love being in your presence, and that scares you. You start to feel unsafe. You start to feel like you're going to sabotage it in some way. You start to feel like it's not okay for me to let this happen because this is so good now. I don't know what's going to happen to me if this goes away. Now my well-being depends on this person's view of me. That's where you have to come to the realization of like, why would I be telling this story? Why would something that anybody outside of me is doing make me feel a certain way when I'm the one who decides how I feel and how things work for me in reality? It could only be because you are putting your validation in the external, and you're putting that person or love in general or feeling accepted on a pedestal. You're not understanding that that comes from within you. So understand, you get to decide. Yes, I am always chosen. If this relationship were ever to not resonate with me anymore, it would be my choice, and it would not be a painful thing. It would just be what is most aligned with me. It would just be what is my desire right now. That doesn't mean anything about me. It doesn't even have to mean anything about that person, and it doesn't have to be bad. Or I can just decide that that's not gonna happen anymore because that's not the way things work out for me. I get to have what I want, it gets to be good, and it gets to keep getting better and better forever and ever. I never have to let go of this awareness if I don't want to. The only thing that is going to change this situation is if I change my mind. So understand that. And this goes for manifesting anything, or manifesting new love, or manifesting an SP. If you have called them in and you are seeing them in your reality and you feel triggered by it, or you feel like you can't keep it, or you're having to do all this stuff to maintain it, or it's going to go away, you are not fully in that awareness of identifying with that version of yourself who is in that loving, committed relationship. If you cannot feel safe in your own awareness, nobody outside of you is ever going to make you feel safe. You have to feel safe with the knowledge that it is you that's choosing. You do have full responsibility for deciding what's going to be created in your reality, and it is the way that you say it is. So just remember that if you're manifesting a new person, whether you've gotten really specific and you have a whole list of things that you want this person to be, or whether you are just feeling into the gratitude of having somebody to spend your life with, understand that whatever you are thinking about yourself, whatever you are feeling about yourself, this other person also sees you that way. They cannot see greater for you than you see for you, and you cannot see greater in them than you see for them. So if you want your partner to see you as irreplaceable, to always choose you, to know that you are the priority in their life, however you want them to see you, you have to see yourself that way first, because your awareness is reflected in them. Your identity, what version of yourself you're choosing to be, determines what version of whoever it is coming into your life. Whether it's an SP, whether it's new love, whether it's the versions of the new person that could manifest. Because even if it's a new person, there are infinite versions of them as well, just as there are infinite versions of everyone. So if you want them coming in, showing up in an ideal way, if you want the most favorable form of your manifestation, your ideal perfect relationship, then have an ideal perfect image of them in your mind, and have an ideal perfect image of yourself. Understand that your awareness, your consciousness, who you are choosing to be, is the only thing. It determines all truth for you in your reality. So as soon as you decide to be the person who already has what you want, who is always getting what you want, who is always taken care of, and knows that only they get to decide, whatever you decide is that way. You just maintain that awareness, you just don't go back. And of course, if you're manifesting new love and you already have good beliefs about yourself in relationships, then this should be extremely simple for you. But if you're manifesting new love and maybe you have not so great beliefs, you haven't had such great relationships in the past, then that should be your focus. Your self-concept, understanding who you are and why you have the power to choose in your reality, and that it is only your job to do so. Nobody else can choose for you. Once you understand that, You have to choose who you're gonna be as an individual. And what kind of individual do you think is living in that in? What you're seeing as a future reality, how can you make it now? How can you embody that state now? What should you be feeling? What should you be thinking? How should you mentally, physically, emotionally prepare yourself for that experience so that when it does come in, you're not triggering yourself and recreating old situations that you'd prefer to no longer see. So, new love is very similar to manifesting an SP. There's just the difference of not having to recreate a new version of somebody and shifting out of the awareness of seeing them as that old self. So if you have good beliefs about yourself and about relationships, it should be relatively easy for you. But even if you are calling in new love, your ideal partner, your ideal match, whatever, your divine match, your twin flame, your soulmate, if you don't have good beliefs about either yourself in general or relationships in general, then that needs to be addressed. And even if you were to just address that piece, your options would come in. And from that point, you can get specific about who it is that you are going to choose and not worry about whether or not that person is going to choose you. Because it's never about whether or not somebody outside of you is going to choose you. It's always about if you are going to choose you. Because if you do that, your reality has no choice but to show you that you are chosen. So if you don't want to worry about the specific details, don't worry about the specific details. Just go to, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm in the best relationship of my life. I feel so happy. I feel so satisfied. Everything is exactly the way that I want it to be. Stick with those general self-concept affirmations that are actually empowering, not just like, oh, I'm the sexiest bitch alive. Oh, like all men want me, or like that stuff is fine. But do you have a solid grasp on why you are the I am? Do you have a solid grasp on how you get to use your awareness? That it is your responsibility to do so, and that everything that you see is a reflection of that. Because if you understand that, then you can automatically jump to the awareness that you could already be in the circumstance that you want to be in right now, instead of the unfavorable circumstance of not having somebody, not being loved, not being chosen, yada, yada, yada. Okay, it really is the same for everything. It's always, who are you going to decide to be? And if you feel any resistance to that, your new decision, your only job is to keep returning to that awareness over and over and over and over again until that version of you is gone and you only have the awareness of being in your end and your wish fulfilled. And once that becomes natural and normal to you, that just is the way it is. And if that point does not come before you start to see physical reflections of what your state of awareness is, of what you're assuming to be true, then keep at it. Keep solidifying that awareness, keep embodying that state, keep returning and keep returning and keep returning, so that you're not creating situations where you're having and losing. That further serve to solidify those unwanted stories of the past. Set yourself up for success and understand that whatever you say it is what it is. So if you want this specific man, if you want to write a 10-page long list about exactly how he's going to be, do it. And if you just want to decide, hey, infinite intelligence, I completely and totally trust you, and I'm so glad I did because you brought me this perfect person for me and they are amazing and I'm so happy, and you want to leave it at that, that's fine. Just understand that in all scenarios and everything that you are manifesting, you get to do this and you get to have it because you say so, because you decided, because you chose. That's really all there ever is to it. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I intend this message serves you well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. If you're interested in working with me or checking out any of my other platforms, all that information is in the description box below. Yes, it is. Okay. Other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.